I have a new girlfriend. I'm moving her in here, so I'm divorcing you. As for you, you can move into the basement or the storage room and be a maid for my parents. You can choose, be the breadwinner paying our debts, or be the housekeeper. Either way, I don't need you anymore. That was my husband's anniversary gift to me. No flowers, no candlelight dinner, just a brutal ultimatum. Standing behind him, my in-laws were giggling like they had just heard the funniest joke of the century. They thought I was an idiot. They thought I was a walking ATM. They thought they had won. But there was one thing they didn't know. I had known about their plan for 3 months. And while they were dreaming about kicking me out of the very house I paid for, I was silently preparing a special gift for them. A gift that would cost them everything: their home, their money, and their reputation. Welcome to the story of the sweetest revenge of my life. My name is Sarah, and this is how I taught my ex-husband and his toxic family a lesson they will never forget. I'm Sarah, 32 years old, and I'm what you'd call a typical NYC workaholic. After college, I threw myself into the corporate grind at a major financial firm. My 20s weren't spent partying or dating. They were spent on certifications, all-nighters, and climbing the corporate ladder. The result? I was a department director by 30, making a 6-figure salary that most people only dream of. My professional life was fulfilling. I had a great boss and a talented team. But coming home to an empty apartment every night, that loneliness started to creep in. My friends were worried about me. So they hosted a dinner party, and that's where I met him, Mark. Mark was 32, just like me. He had a winning smile, charming conversation skills, and a smart intellectual vibe. We clicked instantly. He worked in an office, loved hiking, and loved dogs. He love-bombed me with the kind of care and attention I had never received before. 6 months later, we were married. When I first met Mark's parents, I thought I had hit the jackpot. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson welcomed me like their own daughter. "Sarah, you are so beautiful and talented. I'm so proud Mark found a woman like you," Mrs. Wilson said, holding my hands. They even praised my career. "In this day and age, a woman needs to be financially independent. Don't you ever quit your job." I breathed a sigh of relief. I'd heard so many monster-in-law horror stories, but it seemed I had lucked out. After the wedding, Mark moved into my rented luxury apartment. Newlywed life was bliss, but that happiness lasted exactly 6 months. One night, Mark sat me down, looking serious. "Sarah, I need to talk to you. My parents are getting older and their health is declining. I'm an only child and I don't feel right leaving them alone. Would you mind if we lived with them?" I hesitated. Living with in-laws wasn't exactly on my bucket list, but I understood his responsibility. "But where would we live? This apartment isn't big enough," I asked. Mark's eyes lit up. "About that, I was thinking we could renovate my parents' old house into a 2-family duplex. That way we have our privacy, but we can still look after them. Plus it would be way cheaper than buying a new house." It sounded logical. My in-laws were kind people and saving money sounded smart. I agreed. But then the first bomb dropped. When discussing the renovation costs, around $150,000, Mark hesitated. "Actually, I have a huge favor to ask. Can you pay for the entire renovation?" "Why?" I was shocked. Mark had a job too. "Actually, my parents and I are in debt," Mark confessed, looking at the floor. "How much?" "About $200,000, I screamed. "What, 200K? Why did you never tell me this?" Mark spun a sob story about how the debt piled up due to his parents' medical bills and bad luck, and how the interest was eating them alive. His salary was barely covering the monthly interest. "Sarah, please, help me pay off the debt for my parents. If we don't, they'll lose the house. I know you have savings. I promise I'll work hard to pay you back. Please, for our love." I cried. I felt deceived that he hid this massive debt before the wedding. But looking at Mark's pained face and thinking of those kind in-laws, my heart softened. Love really is blind. Fine, I said. I'll pay for the renovation, and I will help with the debt. But I'm not paying a lump sum. I'll pay it off in installments from my monthly salary. Mark and his parents acted like they had won the lottery. My mother-in-law cried tears of gratitude. They suggested I transfer the money directly into a separate account so they could manage the payments themselves to avoid paperwork. I agreed because I trusted them completely. And so, I began my life as a mule working to pay off their mistakes. I drained my savings to turn their rundown house into a beautiful mini mansion. I worked 14-hour days, took on side projects, and cut all my personal spending to funnel cash to them. Meanwhile, Mark didn't contribute a dime. He claimed his salary was low and only covered living expenses. Whenever I asked to see his pay stubs, he got defensive and accused me of not trusting him. A year went by. I was working myself into the ground. One day, my in-laws asked, "How much have you paid off, Sarah?" "I've cleared about $20,000. Only about $80,000 left to go," I announced excitedly. Their eyes lit up in a very strange way. "Oh, you're amazing, Sarah. Wonderful." I thought they were happy about being debt-free. I didn't realize that was the look of wolves watching a fat sheep getting ready for the slaughter. The turning point happened on a fateful Tuesday. I texted Mark that I had to work late, but my project wrapped up unexpectedly early. I rushed home, excited to cook a nice dinner and surprise the family. When I unlocked the door, I saw my in-laws' shoes in the foyer. They lived on the first floor and we were on the second, but they visited often. I was about to call out to them when I heard loud, raucous laughter coming from the living room. "I told you, Mark, marrying Sarah was the smartest thing you ever did." That was my mother-in-law. "Tell me about it," Mark laughed, a sound that was cold and unfamiliar. "I can't believe she's so gullible. I was worried because she's some big corporate boss, but a few sweet words and she opened her wallet wide." I froze in the hallway, gripping my bag so hard my knuckles turned white. "You should thank us," my father-in-law chimed in. "If it wasn't for my gambling and horse racing debt, how would we have convinced her to renovate this dump into a mansion?" Gambling? Horse racing? Wasn't it medical bills? "But Mark," my mother-in-law continued, "what happens when she pays off the rest? Are you going to live with her forever? She's so boring, all she does is work." "Are you crazy, Mom?" Mark scoffed. "I have Jennifer. She's 10 times hotter than Sarah. Once Sarah pays off the last $80,000, I'm kicking her to the curb. The house is fixed. The debt is gone. I'll move Jennifer in." That's my boy. So smart. My world collapsed. My husband, the man I loved, was a cheating scammer. My in-laws, the people I respected, were greedy accomplices. They didn't see me as family. They saw me as a donkey to ride and a wallet to drain. I wanted to storm in there, scream, and break everything. But 10 years in the brutal corporate world taught me one thing. Anger is instinct, but patience is power. I quietly backed out the door, waited a moment, and then slammed it shut. Click! "I'm home!" I shouted cheerfully. The laughter in the living room died instantly. When I walked in, 3 faces looked at me with fake, sickening smiles. "Oh, Sarah, you're home early. You work so hard, honey," my mother-in-law cooed. "I was just about to text you to ask what you wanted for dinner," Mark said, moving to kiss me. I suppressed the urge to vomit and smiled. "I'm exhausted. I'm going to shower and sleep." That night in the shower, I turned the water on full blast to drown out my sobbing. I cried for the dead love and the broken trust, but when I stepped out of that bathroom, weak Sarah was gone. Director of Finance Sarah, cold, calculated, and ruthless, was back. The revenge plan began. The next 3 months were my best acting performance. I played the happy, obedient wife. I secretly recorded every conversation. I made copies of every document regarding the house and the transfers. I hired a private investigator to follow Mark and quickly got 4K evidence of his affair with Jennifer. The climax came when I told Mark, Honey, great news. I used my year-end bonus to pay off the entire remaining $80,000 debt. We are free. Mark couldn't hide the manic joy in his eyes. Really? You paid it all off? Yep, transferred the lump sum yesterday. Mark hugged me, but I knew he was celebrating his own victory. He thought the time to dump me had finally arrived. He didn't make me wait long. A few days later, on our anniversary, Mark called me down to the living room. His parents were there, sitting smugly on the sofa. "Sarah, we need to talk," Mark said coldly. "I have a new girlfriend. Her name is Jennifer. I'm moving her in. I want a divorce." I feigned shock. What are you saying? You heard me. I'm bored of you, but... Mark smirked. "If you want, you can stay. You can move into the storage room in the basement. You can be the maid for my parents and Jennifer. You're good at making money and cleaning anyway. We'll even charge you rent." My in-laws laughed loudly. "That's right, Sarah. Stay and serve us. You have no one else anyway." They laughed. They thought I was used up and worthless. "Enough," I said, my voice eerily calm. I lifted my head and looked them dead in the eye. "Do you people really think I'm that stupid?" "What?" The smile vanished from Mark's face. "All of you. Get out of my house. Right now." Mark frowned. "Are you crazy? This is my parents' house." "Wrong, Mark." I pulled a file out of my bag. "This is the property deed. Did you forget? When we did the renovation, because your parents had such bad credit, they couldn't get approved for permits or loans. You guys begged to transfer the title to me so I could guarantee the renovation. This house, legally, is 100% mine." My in-laws' faces turned gray. They had been so greedy for the renovation money that they forgot the most important legal detail. "And one more thing," I smiled, the smile of a predator. "That $80,000 debt I said I paid off, I lied." What? Mark stuttered. "I didn't pay your creditors. I transferred that money into a secret savings account in my name. The debt is still there. And since your names are on the loan, good luck with the debt collectors." "No, you can't do that," my mother-in-law screamed, lunging at me. I stepped back. "Don't try it. I have hidden cameras all over this house. Every word you said about scamming me, every admission of Mark's affair, it's all recorded. My lawyer has a copy, and the police will be very interested in your admission of financial fraud." "Oh, and Mark," I turned to my trembling ex. "Jennifer, your girlfriend? I sent her the proof of your cheating and your plan to scam me. She just texted back, 'Thanks for the warning. I don't date broke losers.' She dumped you." Mark collapsed onto the floor. My in-laws started crying and begging. "Sarah, I'm sorry. I was confused. We are family." "Yes, honey, I was just joking. I love you." I looked at them with pure disgust. "Family? You aren't family. You are parasites." And I just called the exterminator. I kicked them out that very night. The police arrived and supported me because I was the legal owner. The result of the war? 1. The house. I sold the house, which was beautifully renovated with my money, for $300,000. After expenses, I made a massive profit. 2. The divorce. With evidence of adultery and attempted fraud, I won easily. Mark didn't get a dime. In fact, he had to pay me for emotional damages. 3. The in-laws. With the massive debt unpaid and interest skyrocketing, they had to declare bankruptcy. Mark had to move into a crappy apartment with his parents, working 2 manual labor jobs to pay off the loan sharks. As for me, the money from the house sale plus the savings that I lied about spending significantly boosted my net worth. I used that money to invest and travel the world, something I missed out on for 10 years. I learned an expensive lesson. Never let love blind you to red flags, and more importantly, always keep the receipts. Now I'm sitting on a beach in Bali writing this. I'm single, wealthy, and happier than ever. Sometimes I wonder if I hadn't come home early that Tuesday, where would I be? Probably still slaving away for people who didn't deserve me. What do you guys think? Was I too harsh for making them homeless and bankrupt, or was that exactly the karma they deserved for greed and betrayal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next pro-revenge story. Thanks for listening, and remember, never mess with a smart woman. See you in the next video.